Welcome to New Connection, where you can tune in and grow. I'm your host, Vicki Thompson. You may be familiar with New Connection magazine for conscious living, which has been enjoyed by readers in the Pacific Northwest for more than 17 years. Now we're excited to bring New Connection to life in your home with our new talk show. On New Connection, we'll welcome authors, practitioners, and visionaries to share new ideas for alternative health, spirituality, and personal growth. Today, I'd like to welcome to New Connection Jan Engels-Smith, who's the founder of Light Song School of Shamanic Studies. Jan is also an author, shamanic practitioner, and Reiki master. She's performed more than 2,000 soul retrievals and is considered a leading expert in her field. And today we're going to talk about shamanism and the law of attraction. But first, I'd like to talk about shamanism, Jan, because it's a very unique spiritual practice that not everyone may be interested in. So can you share with us, what is shamanism about?
Well, the word shaman actually means somebody who sees in the dark with their heart. And so to me, I think of shamanism as a very loving, indigenous way of looking at a person, which is that they are a divine light, and something that's come around today for kind of a new age thought, but it's actually been around for centuries. And it's dealing with the soul as being a divine aspect of actually who you are, and so that all healing then comes through the soul or through your spirit. And so that's what I do. I work with people's energy, which I'm also calling soul or spirit. Kind of the words are synonymous in this.
So there's a perception that shamanism might be a Native American tradition, but it seems to be something that we use practically in modern society.
Yes, in fact, the trademark that I've gotten for the school is 21st Century Shamanism and Energy Medicine. It is global. What I teach is actually called core shamanism. And what that means is that if you were to go to every country on the planet and look at how people did their healing in the beginning, there's aspects that are all the same. And so we don't follow a particular tradition, or it's not Native American. It's Native American is part of it, but so is South American and African and Australian, European, the Celtics, all that type of thing. And so there's not a tradition, and so people can really empower themselves by making it what they want it to be for them, by just learning the foundation of how to move energy. And my whole thing, Vicki, with my work is to get people empowered. I really think that that is 21st century shamanism, and it's got to move away from so much the hands of the practitioner and into people, and really empowering them to make them feel really how incredibly powerful they are, instead of some of the ways that people do feel beat down and disempowered or powerless. And so I emphasize that a lot. And I think, again, shamanism has got sometimes an odd maybe connotation to it, but I have found that it's a big umbrella for many, many healing arts that are out there. Even just developing your psychic ability and your awareness, your sensory awareness, is all part of getting in tune with the truth of who you are, and not something different from that. And to me, that all falls under shamanism. You can use the skill and apply it just about anywhere.
So that's where shamanism and the law of attraction
Yes.
can come together.
Yes.
And you have used a beautiful example of comparing the law of attraction to tuning forks.
Yes.
Which I thought was a really powerful way to understand how it works. So can you tell us, how does the law of attraction work and the resonance?
Sure. Well, law of attraction, the law states that everything is likened to its own kind. And so the example of the tuning forks, I think, is great, because what happens is, if you use an illustration of having a tuning fork, let's say that is the note A, and at the end of a football field you have another tuning fork which is also A. If you hit this tuning fork, the one at the end of the football field will begin to vibrate, because that attraction is there. It's the same note, and it goes and it starts to vibrate the opposite one. Whereas if you had A at this end And G down here, you can hit this one all day and it's not going to make this vibrate because it's not the same frequency. And that's another part that I really see, that we need to start using the words like frequency and vibration, because that's really what we are. We're a frequency, we're vibrations, and we're a very high frequency of vibration. And things that are a match to us, they make us feel good, and things that are not a match to us don't make us feel good. And so that's how and also bringing together, law of attraction is something that people are really getting to understand now. There's a lot of wonderful material out on it. My book that I wrote actually has got a lot of information in there on it. And people tend to keep things separated, like, well, shamanism over here, law of attraction over here, Reiki over here, all these things are separated. And what I'm trying to do in the school is to say, these are all the same thing. When you learn how to operate with this, within these, the skill, develop this skill, you then are in control of what you're creating, because the law of attraction tells you you're in control of what you're creating. And so I'm just trying to show people how to move energy instead of like not knowing how to do that,
Well, it seems like with our physical body, we have vibrations that interact with our physical body.
Yes.
And you call it a broadcast tower.
A broadcast tower, yeah.
Of energy. Can you tell us a bit about how that works in our physical body and how we become those towers of energy?
Sure. In your body, you have my little drawings. You have to excuse I have clip art talent on the computer. So,
they're perfect.
Anyway, so as you see on the monitor there, there's chakras in your body, and I only have 3 on the picture, but actually there's 7, and actually there's 147 in the body, but most people just work with these 7, the basic ones through the body, and they are spinning and broadcasting energy, and that then goes out into the other fields that are around you. And some people would call those auric fields, or some people would call those electromagnetic fields, like if you're in the sciences. But they are fields of energy that are around you, and they're filled with what is broadcast out from the chakras. And so in your chakras, you hold your beliefs. You hold in a perfect form, and if you would never had any problem, you would have perfect chakras that broadcast what they're supposed to, which is a very beautiful divine energy. But unfortunately, we don't live in that perfect kind of world, and our wounds also get caught in our chakras. Faulty beliefs or fears can get caught in there, and then they broadcast out into your auric fields too, and then that's part of your broadcast. But in shamanism, we work a lot with non-physical beings and allies, spirit allies. And I asked one time, I said, how do we look to you? Like, we're always looking to see how you look to us. How do we look to you? And they showed me this image, and there's no body there. It was just this amazing broadcast of energy that each person is.
So just energy radiating out. And in your drawing, you show the 4 energy fields around the human body. So that's your auric field.
Those are your auric fields, and they're the physical, the etheric, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. And in shamanism, we tend to like to work in that spirit field, because when the spirit is adjusted, when that is brought into alignment with itself, actually, the energy then percolates down through, and all the other fields are then taken care of. And that's why I think that it's such a wonderful healing modality, because everything does get touched with a spiritual healing of some sort.
So it's starting on the outside and moving down through. So our thoughts can create vibrations in our energy fields.
Absolutely.
How does that work with the law of attraction?
Right. So one of the things that's the most important thing, I think, to remember is that our thoughts and our words are energy. They are frequencies of vibration. And so when people can feel very disempowered and think, well, how can I do a healing on myself? How can I be well when I don't know how to do these these skills or whatever? And to me, when you are actually thinking positive thoughts or speaking positively, what you're actually doing is you are drawing positive things to you. And to me, that's actually how a soul retrieval works, which is what I specialize in that when you're up in a positive place, you actually have the power to bring part of your soul pieces back in. And vice versa, when you're in a negative place, you can actually be losing part of yourself. And so the law of attraction is going to say that you're going to draw to you what you're vibrating, what your frequency is. And so if you have a very high frequency within, and you will then draw to you the good things to you that are also a high frequency. And the law of attraction is working regardless if you get it or not. I mean, it's one of those laws. It's like gravity. Gravity works. You don't have to know the mathematical formula for it. You don't have to, know the speed of it. It's working. Throw something up, comes down. It keeps us on the planet. It keeps the universe in order, in the orbits. And the law of attraction is the same thing. The law of attraction is a creative energy. You're creating with your words and with your thoughts. In fact, I learned one time from a teacher that the word abracadabra actually means I create what I speak.
Interesting. Because I think, oftentimes we might be driving on the road. We might be under stress at work, having lots of tasks that we have to complete. And we may lament, I just don't have enough time to get my work done. I'm too busy, I'm too rushed, or I'll never get it all done. Are we creating things as we say those?
Absolutely. The element of time, actually I put 3 things in the same category: time, love, and money. In that it's all in a scarcity thought form, a huge scarcity thought form. I mean, if you think about how many people a day think, I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough love, or I don't have enough time, that thought form, which is just gathered pockets of energy with a program in them, is hovering above us. It's hovering. So as soon as you go into that thought process, it's like you're intravenously hooking into it. And so, you can create quickly with that kind of power behind you, but you're creating what you don't want. You're creating more of I don't have. And so part of the law of attraction and healing is that you want to make statements that are true, that you are going to vibrate an awareness. Your frequency, your feelings are going to be a match for what you're saying. And so if you don't have enough time, you could make a game out of it and say, well, sometimes I'm on time and I get so much done in one day. I always feel great when I have those kind of days. And so you go off and you start thinking about that instead, and all of a sudden you're feeling great about how you do that. Well, you're going to create more time for yourself. Time is a very elusive thing. You can play with it a lot, and you can alter it. So
I think that's good news for a lot of people that to have that positive moment of I do have enough time.
You do
and
have
I can
enough
be
time.
in that flow. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You have another process called soul retrievals that you also use to help people to, get in a better position to attract.
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, one of the things that I have done for many years, in fact, since I've been a practitioner, is that I do a guided meditation before the person goes, we do the soul retrieval. And the spirits had guided me to do this, and I never really knew why I was doing it, except that they seemed to be very relaxed and very opened. And as the years went on, I realized what was happening was that I was being able to get them to just broadcast their divinity. And so the way that I do that is through steps of the meditation. In fact, they're part of the CDs that I have available for people now. And it, through prompts, brings a person into an awareness of their magnificence. And when they are feeling that magnificence, when they're just sitting there in the chair and they're just like, wow, do I feel good? That is actually a vibrational match for their soul. Because the soul is divine. It is perfect energy. It has no black marks. It has no demerits. It has no anything that went wrong with it. It left because of the problem. And when we bring a soul piece back in a soul retrieval, you're getting back the divine energy. And so if I can get that person broadcasting at this really high level, it's like the soul pieces just start coming into them. And so I have realized through my own work that these things are not separate. They are working all the time. And that's actually how I do extractions then too, with getting things out of a person, is using the law of attraction. I use it all the time in my work and in my life. I mean, I think I'm thinking about it 24/7, you know.
To pull into the power of the law of attraction. So you mentioned soul extractions. Is that different from retrieval?
Yeah, it's not a soul extraction. You're actually extracting an intrusion that has gotten into your soul. So let's say that, you know, you've had a lot of things happen in your life and you feel bad about it. You know, you've got anger in there, you've got sadness or grief or something like that. Those are very low frequency energies, all right? And the reason that we know that they're low frequency is because you feel bad, all right? The body is always going to tell you how things are. And when it's feeling bad, it's saying whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're exposing yourself to is not good here. And so it's going, warning, 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 because eventually the body will break down. And that's how in shamanism we see illnesses. There's no label for diabetes or fibromyalgia or heart attack. It's all because your energy is not in alignment with its truth. And so they develop what we call intrusions. And an intrusion makes your whole body be out of alignment, or your whole energy system be out of alignment. And so in an extraction then, what we're doing is we're going in and we're getting that energy to come out. And I don't ever call this energy bad or negative, because to me it's just a lower vibration. It's a vibration that is not a match for you. And so I don't go to war with it. I don't, you know, try to grab it and take it out. But what I do is I invite it to go home. I invite it to go where it is matched. And so I create a win-win situation then with my intention, and it always works. I mean, the helpers come in, and the energy then wants to leave because it's caught in a system that's not a match for it either. And it wants to leave, and so it goes. And it restabilizes the system, your system, or whoever I'm working on. Yeah.
So that also, too, ties back into the law of attraction.
Absolutely.
And what you are attracting, and that it's time for it to go home. You have another thing that you talk about called dreaming a new dream.
Yeah. And
tell me about that and how that works with the law of attraction.
Well, Dreaming a New Dream is another one of the CDs that is in this 3-pack that I have. And it's based on when people don't want something to happen, or they're angry at something that did happen. They're, you know, politics is a big one, of course, or you know, different things that we have going on in the United States or in the world. They then express anger towards the problem. Well, anger is a low frequency energy. And when you're expressing anger, what you're doing is creating more anger.
Can you explain low frequency? Because I don't know if everyone is familiar with low frequency energy versus high frequency energy.
Well, again, high frequency energy, what I can explain about it is it's a match for the soul. And when you're doing things that are a match, they will always feel good. So if you're saying things, thinking things, doing things that are a match in a high frequency range, they will feel good in the body. Okay, you become expanded, you feel joyous, you feel creative, and all kinds of possibilities are there. When you are entertaining lower frequency thoughts or words, you collapse. I mean, I could sit here and say some really negative things, and both of our bodies would start to go concave and we'd feel bad. Our energy fields are collapsing and our chakras are going way down.
So can you really see, when you look at an auric field, does it, rather than being bright and flowing, does it really just start to kind of go gray, or just doesn't shine anymore? How?
Well, you can catch it on Kirlian photography and stuff, but in my classes what we do, because we don't have those cameras, is you just hold your hands over someone's head and have them start thinking thoughts, and you can feel what happens to the energy. You can feel it go down. You can feel it get maybe cold or something like that. And so absolutely that's what happens. And so anyway, going back to the question of the law of attraction and dream the new dream. So if you're angry and you're spewing out this anger towards something, again, you're going to create more of the problem. The spirits downloaded this beautiful example of that to me, and I don't think I brought you a picture of it, but I'll try to explain it here in a minute. So dream the new dream then is, instead of focusing on the problem, we want to focus on the solution. And in focusing on the solution, and you might not even know what the solution is, but you know qualities of the solution. People are happy, children are educated, there's health care for people, there's good schools, there's a better environment. All of those are qualities that we're looking for. And so if you can keep your vibration high, filled with joy, filled with enthusiasm, filled with optimism, that is a match for those qualities. So that's dreaming the new dream. Dream the way that you want it to be, but feel it. The thing with the law of attraction that most people don't understand is that it's the frequency of feeling. They think, well, I'm thinking the positive thoughts, I'm saying the positive words, but things still aren't working because they're not feeling the level of in their frequency isn't high enough to be able to attract it, because they're still maybe broadcasting a belief, I really don't believe this, these are just words. Okay.
So how do you feel it? How do you dream your dream and really feel it and use your emotions to help with that creation?
Well, on the CD, what I do is I take people through prompts and I bring them to this place where they're broadcasting really high, the same that I did with the soul retrieval. And then from there, they're prompted to really engage in their dream, where they're tasting it, seeing it, smelling it, feeling it, like they're in it. And they're just enjoying where they are. And at that level, when they're broadcasting like that, just comes right in as a match. It has to, because the law of attraction will tell you that that's the way it's going to work.
And that comes off of you have a 3 CD set called Awaken, Unburden, and Create.
And there's 3 CDs in there. There's one called The Brilliance of You, which is just to get people used to feeling brilliant, feeling wonderful about themselves, where they can lay back and sit back and just listen to something, and the prompts will take you through it. And then the other one is the same process, only now the prompts are going to be about calling back your soul pieces. And then the next one is the same prompt, or different prompts, but same process. And this time we're going to dream a new dream about ourselves.
And what are our soul pieces?
Soul pieces are parts of your divine energy that split off from you from some sort of trauma. So, and trauma is different for all kinds of people. I mean, some people, they're traumatized in abuse, and another person might be traumatized in 3rd grade and feel like, crawling in a hole of embarrassment, okay? But it sticks with you. And it sticks with you because actually part of your divine energy leaves at that moment. And this is actually a human behavioral ability that we have to take care of ourselves. Because if you can see that something awful is happening, you don't want to be really present for it. You want to be able to numb out. And so psychology calls this disassociation. You disassociate from the situation. And in shamanism, we call it soul loss. And so once those soul pieces are gone, some people know how to get them back. Sometimes they'll come back spontaneously through growth and life. And some people, they don't come back. And so that is where a practitioner would go in and find those pieces and literally blow them back into you. The reason I created the CD series, though, is because not everybody is going to be attuned to shamanism or be in the hands of a practitioner or even want to be, but they still can have the resources to call some of those pieces back. And to me, to stay really healthy, you have to be taking care of your energy system. It is primarily who you are. And so I try to give people as many tools as I can to say, spend some time each day and filling yourself back up, filling yourself up with divine light. And divine light feels good, and it's full of positive words. So
I think it's a really powerful process, Jan, and I really want to thank you for being with us today and sharing with us these wonderful tools to help us to grow.
Thanks.
So I'd like to invite you all to join us next time on New Connection, where you can tune in and grow. Thank you.
That was it. Well.